So big result out of that last video. Texas going to lose, I think, a lot of provinces here, as well as Ontario is growing in strength in the Northeast. And actually, Colorado just pieced out with Texas to the south, and they took about 2 provinces. They forced the release of the former... Actually, this is interesting because they didn't release this to New Mexico. They gave this back to the Mexican state that was kind of stuck and landlocked inside of Texas territory, formerly. So that is pretty interesting decision-making there for Colorado. But yeah, at the same time, I mean, obviously a significant amount of power was lost, and we'll see if California can do the dealing blow here and bring Texas back down to just natural Texan borders. That will be, yep, that was a huge mistake by the AI. Texas going after and fighting across a river and in rough terrain. California with a 17.3 stack here. Now 18 because they're reinforcing. And they already have a few occupations. Who is this? Oh, that's Sonora. Oh, Sonora. Oh yeah. Oh, that's done. Oh, my goodness. So California will be picking up a lot of war score here. A lot. I would expect much more than just that 39 by the end of this, because they're going to wipe, I think, Texas's army out, and they will have a lot of forts under their control as well. Yep, there's a 28 stack. Texas is chilling in Oklahoma. Is there anybody... What's happened so far in Mexico? We have Guanajuato, something like that. Guanajuato? Something like that. I don't know. J's are supposed to be pronounced as H's. That's the only thing that I know. Actually, I know a little bit, but that's one thing that I know. Anyways, Florida looking good now. I love the Florida borders. Really, really like it. And of course, Florida is loved by most of the Southeast. That will be interesting. If Ontario continues to kind of consolidate here in the Northeast and they begin to approach the South, when Ontario has to face the South, I mean, that is going to be a fun challenge, I think, because the South has been kind of united the entire time. Are there any other wars? Massachusetts is not going to survive this. They are not going to survive. Nova Scotia really pushing back. Although, maybe they will. Maybe they will, because Massachusetts might just be having issues. Where are they at in terms of war score? Oh man. Yeah, no, Massachusetts decided just to eat Nova Scotia. So, boom. And they do have to deal with those rebels, but that's fine. That's just going to be... Uh-oh. Okay, so I guess they are going to survive this. They're going to survive this, and they might even take things away from New Hampshire. I don't know if they're going to take all 3 away. They still need to deal with those rebels, though. Nova Scotia might technically get their... They might separate, actually. Because if they take long enough, if Massachusetts takes long enough to go back up here and crush that 4 stack, they'll just be released just like that. Boom! Look at Wisconsin. And they're also involved in another war, aren't they? Against who? Against Michigan. So they're going to try to go across... Oh, are they helping... They might be helping Indiana. This might not be their war. But Wisconsin's looking good. But they're hated by Ontario and some of the other Canadian provinces. Hated by Iowa, too. But they have the allegiance of Nebraska, Missouri, Indiana, Ohio. So that's pretty cool. Who is this? Noble Rebels. Okay, I didn't know if they were separatists or what. I always like to check on that. Ohio looking pretty good with the 16 stack. That 16 stack's pretty good. Pennsylvania still has not been cored yet by Ontario. Not yet, at least. Where did the Massachusetts military go? I don't know. Tennessee is still going after Kentucky. Kentucky will, I think, ultimately be destroyed here. Unless, well, maybe not. West Virginia. Oh, West Virginia grabbed their provinces back. I see. Remember, West Virginia was just here in this corner with 1 province. They came back. They came back, grabbed their cores, and that was it. And they left home. Bam! There goes California. They did peace out. They also released East Texas. Oh my gosh, that's really cool that there are all of these other kind of nations. We saw Superior. Was it Superior here for a second near the Great Lakes? And now we see East Texas. We also saw Northern Virginia. That was also pretty cool. So who is East Texas going to ally to? Who is liked? Texas does not like East Texas. Neither does Oklahoma and Florida. They probably won't survive, but somebody else might. Maybe like Arkansas might capitalize on this opportunity. Very interesting. Very interesting, especially because, I mean, okay, so first of all, California, I still think, I mean, even though I'm a little bit biased here, I'm not going to say something biased. I'm saying, yeah, I know that I'm from California, I'm rooting for California, but I still don't think they're very strong at all. Even after they core this stuff, it's not going to be enough, because at the end of the day, Texas still has some strong alliances. Oh, Texas actually maybe changing their strategy here, and maybe allying to more of the Mexican states to the south. That's an interesting strategy. That came out of nowhere. So maybe Texas doesn't have as many strong alliances. Well, still, Nevada and Washington seem to be, and even Baja Sur, seem to be reluctant to kind of, yeah, to defend California or go after, get involved in wars with California. So I still don't know if California's alliances are that powerful. What does Colorado and California like each other? They do, technically. Let's go ahead and check in on, oh, is Pennsylvania back at, no. I thought there was a few occupations that I was seeing. Bam, yeah, New Hampshire got eaten too. So look at that, Massachusetts. They don't necessarily, Ontario and Massachusetts don't necessarily have too bad of relations. I mean, it's bad, but it's not like super bad. And really, at this point, all Massachusetts has to do is just hold on to all this stuff, because New York's not going to be a threat, neither is Jersey. So they can just hold on to it. Nova Scotia, I'm sorry, no, Newfoundland and Labrador will not play a role either. Wisconsin and Massachusetts should ally. Now that'd be an interesting, that would be one alliance that I could see maybe holding back Ontario. I'm not 100% about that, but I think I could see it maybe happening. Oh, wow, I didn't realize that this stuff had been taken over. It's occupied by North Dakota, though. North Dakota is going to try to take back their lands. Okay, so what wars are currently happening? Alberta versus a few provinces there in Canada. Okay, we'll check in on that. Australian Capital Territory. Whoa, when was that a thing? Has that always been a thing? Well, let me make sure that there's no other wars going on. Not really. I mean, there's interesting things going on here in the provinces of Canada. Oh yeah, lots and lots of stuff. What was that? I saw something purple. Oh, yes, that's a royal marriage. Okay, well, hold on. Let's check in on Australia. We have not checked on Australia for a while. Yeah, so when did that become a thing? New the Wales. I'm thinking, man, I'm still like in the previous AI Only, where everything was all messed up. Yeah, I don't know. Australian capital. That was a weird. Occupied by the Australian Capital Territory. Is that a name for? I don't know. I'm guessing that's some sort of like code name for. Is that Queensland or Victoria? I guess so. I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna assume that because I don't see anything else here, so I guess so. Anyways, Western Australia is not here involved. Just like we predicted, Queensland was gonna go after New South Wales. They're also at war with the Northern Territory. So this is what's going to happen. Queensland and Victoria will stay allied. They'll eat up New South Wales, and then there's going to be this big old continental war between Western Australia and Northern Territory, and the Northern Territory versus Queensland and Victoria. That more than likely will happen. Tasmania will just be chilling by themselves, just kind of watching. They are involved in the war, but I don't know if they're going to be sending over any troops. I don't think that, Victoria has a blockade on the island, so they won't be able to help out at all. Well, still, we'll check back in on that at the end of the episode to see kind of what is going down. Okay, so let's check up on Canada and their provinces. Alberta, I'm sorry, seems to be doing okay. They're going to win this one. Yeah, they're going to win that battle there. Yukon is not involved. Northern Territories is allied to Alberta, but they're also not involved. They're helping out North Dakota here. So they will... North Dakota, I think, will get their land back. Pushing, man, I don't even want to just pretend to know that I know what this means. What this... How to pronounce this word. Saskatchewan. Something like that. Saskatchewan. Is that close? That sounds kind of close, right? Well, either way, there should be some major wins here. Now, there's another war going on, I believe. Maybe not. Oh, man, Yukon lost like 2 of its alliances. Because they just have these royal marriages up now. How's Alaska doing? They still allied to Washington? They're allied to Montana now and the Northern Territories. So, you know, Alaska might try something. Let's briefly check in on Hawaii, because Hawaii is always kind of entertaining. No, yeah, no alliances there. And I forgot to mention that Puerto Rico is a part of this mod. So if anyone wanted to, if anyone wanted to pick Puerto Rico, you are more than welcome to go back and change your vote to Puerto Rico. You never know; they might colonize the Caribbean. They might. So Alberta and North Dakota. Oh, North Dakota. Well, they have to get their cores back. The AI would not. If North Dakota has occupation over their former cores, yeah, Alberta, I think, has to give this back to North Dakota, whether they're the war leader or not. I think it just has to happen. Anything else? Australian Capital Territory, Victoria and Queensland. Yeah, I don't know what that is. That's crazy. But they're at 84 war score, so yeah, that's going to be a significant win for them. My buddy Florence. We've got Ohio versus Kentucky. So Ohio decided to set their sights there on the south. Virginia and Kentucky are still at war. Jeez, how long has that war been going on for? Yep, bam. So I think Ohio is going to win this one. Oh, well, actually, Virginia got the occupation, so maybe not. Yep, boom. They just swooped in there. So Ohio is no longer at war. They tried, though. They definitely tried. It's interesting to see the rise and the fall of some of these nations. Like, you'll see nations come back, and then they'll fall, and then they'll come back, and then they'll fall. Hate the Californian borders. I'm actually hoping they lose a war so that they go back and they make their borders look a lot better, because this is horrible. The borders are going to be just so ugly by the end of this. So ugly. I'll briefly check in on what's going on here. Oh, what is this? We have a personal union over Brittany? Brittany's a vassal of France. Interesting. Aragon still holds a personal union over Naples. Muscovy is looking much more powerful. They grabbed a ton of provinces here, almost maybe too many. But yeah, Russia will definitely be involved, which that would be interesting for Alaska when Russia gets over towards Siberia, which I imagine they will, or if Mongolia becomes a big threat. It'll be fun to watch and see how Alaska handles all this. Still no colonization going on. I have no idea what that's going to look like when the Europeans begin to colonize the Caribbean. I don't know. As well as like the support for independences, that's going to be really weird too, because I'd imagine like all the states would be down to support colonies. We will see a little bit from Brazil, I'm assuming. Oh, is Portugal already over here? No. Oh, yeah, they are. Oh, wow. Yeah, they are already over here. So there we go. I mean, it is almost the 1500s, so that makes sense. Definitely, oh my gosh, Estado Mexico. It's looking good, which I'm hoping that they continue to do good, because that's one of the only Mexican states that I can actually pronounce correctly. I'm guessing, Estado Mexico. Veracruz, I know Veracruz, and that's about it. Oh, they're doing actually pretty well too. They might have themselves some nice naval force limit. Who's Estado Mexico allied to? Just San Luis. I'm just going to call them San Luis. San Luis has got some good allies here too, though. Durango's all right. Texas still reaches pretty far down into Mexican territory. I didn't realize that. Uh-oh. Sonora's in a war. And California, is this an offensive war? This must be an offensive war. Yeah, they are the attacker against the former Mexican state that was kind of trapped inside of Texas for a while. We'll see if California decides to back up their ally. I don't think they will, actually. But Sonora might get some good provinces here. How's Arizona doing? You've got some alliances back? You do. You're allied to Sonora. There you go. How crazy would that be, though, if Arizona gets vassalized? We've not seen much of that. Oh, Alberta. Bam. Looking like a big old chunk. Big old hunk now. Hunk chunk. And North Carolina grabbed their cores back. North Dakota, I apologize. So Alberta grabs 2 provinces. North Dakota grabbed their 2 former cores. I don't see any occupations, so I don't think there's any other wars that are going on. Hey, who's this? Is that Northern Virginia? Do they still exist? No, that's DC. Okay, that's DC. Do we see anything else? Bohemia's in a war. Few Mexican wars are the only thing. Montana is at a war. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Sonora. I'll be checking in on a little bit of Mexico, but I also want to look at Montana. Montana, if they call their alliances, though. Wait, that was an offensive war, though, by Montana. Why did you declare that, Montana? So, British Columbia is also at war with you. I mean, they're all very divided. I will say that. I mean, maybe Montana can do this. I mean, these guys only have a 1 stack. There's an 8 stack there. 3.4 stack for Yukon. So if they unite, then yeah, there's no way Montana's going to be able to defend all their territory. Do they have a good fort system here? No, there's no fort system. So they'd be able to roll back all over this. Obviously, British Columbia has cores on all these lands, so they're going to have a big stake in this process to take their lands back. Who is this? Okay, yeah, so there's some interesting wars. Durango in a few wars, actually, having to defend against two different wars. Anything else? So it's mainly wars going along the coast of the U.S. Oh my gosh, I forgot to mention, just the Donald Trump memes have been really hilarious throughout the comment section of this series. Oh my gosh, it has been too funny sometimes looking at that stuff. So there's also something going on along the Yucatan Peninsula. That might also be a good point. I mean, there's a lot of provinces that are coastal along the Gulf of Mexico. They could pose a big threat to almost anybody if someone were able to consolidate a bit more, like Veracruz. It's Veracruz, right? Something like that. So yeah, they'd be able to, if they consolidate more, build up a force limit, build up into their force limit, I guess. Oh, East Texas is back at war. Oh, and Florida is going after them. Florida just being very aggressive right now, which even though Florida looks big, they don't hold that much power. So something just to keep in mind. They are the defender against Florida. Florida called in their ally of who? Tennessee. Yeah, so Florida's going to kick butt here. And boom, they're going to eat East Texas very fast. Texas will not be able to get this stuff back unless, of course, Texas goes to war with Florida, which they don't really have the allies to do that. They really don't have the allies to do it. Wait a second, what? Oklahoma? Oh, Oklahoma decided to take the call. Was East Texas and... oh, no, East Texas is going to try to take this stuff on their own. Ooh, Oklahoma kind of undermining Texas here. Going after East Texas. Doesn't matter, though. Boom, there goes Florida. So Florida extending their reach even further into the south. Oh, man. How's Sonora doing? Sonora's doing really well in their wars, it looks like. Yeah, so they're going to be, I think, extremely successful here. Sonora might be an interesting province to kind of look out for. Bam, Montana already occupied. Two big provinces occupied. British Columbia is also occupied, though. One of their provinces. Not sure if it's their capital province. No. Vancouver should be their capital province, I believe, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. Just making sure. I'm learning about Canadian geography, too. That's one good thing about this mod, too, that I like. I had no idea. I mean, my Canadian geography was pretty bad. If you guys have been following me for a while, it was very bad. But now I'm getting it. All right, yeah, so Montana's going to lose this war. They'll be kicked out of Canadian territory. Man, there it is. So there was a war declared between Wisconsin. Oh, my gosh, and they're going to have to fight a lot of forces all the way to Colorado. So if Ontario is going to lose a war, this is going to be the one. But we'll see. I'm going to have to stop right there, though, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And briefly, let's check in on Australia. Yeah, they still exist. There's the Australian Capital Territory. I see you. New South Wales. Okay. And Northern Territory also lost a lot of land, too. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. And we'll see what happens with the Ontario War in the next video.